There's lots of things for me to do. On my way home, I'll tell you a few. I could watch a squirrel climb up a tree, or make a buzz like a bumblebee. And that's what I might do today on my way home. Well, when it's pouring rain outside, sometimes I want to stay in and hide. But with boots and raincoat, I'm okay. Splashing in the puddles don't get in my way. That's what I might do today on my way home. Well, when it's cold and snow is on the ground, I could go to a hill and slide right down, make a snow angel or build a snowman, have some hot chocolate and do it again. And that's what I might do today on my way home. Well, when it's hot, I'm in sneakers and shorts. I can play tag or build some forts, walking alone or with my friends, making up a song that never ends. And that's what I might do today on my way home. Yes, that's what I might do today on my way home.
Noses come in many shapes and sizes. Some get laughs, some win beauty prizes. Some turn up, some turn down, some go to the side. Some are long and some are narrow, some are short and wide. They're not there to be good looking. They're there to let you know what's cooking. When you think about it, I suppose you'd be a little lost without your nose. Noses come in many shapes and sizes. Some get laughs, some win beauty prizes. Some turn up, some turn down, some go to the side. Some are long, some are narrow, some are short and wide. They're not there to be good looking. They're there to let you know what's cooking. When you think about it, I suppose you'd be a little lost without your nose.
Oh, please, let me put a pretty dress on you. And shave off some hair, maybe? A gorilla sitting on my knee. It's funnier there than up a tree. If that gorilla was mine to share, I'd treat him with some loving care. Dress him up, take him to school to learn the golden rule. A gorilla sitting on my knee. It's funnier there than up a tree. A gorilla sitting on my knee. It's funnier there than up a tree. Now that you're all dressed up, would you go to school? Well, just for a wee while. I'll give you an apple a day. Okay, then. How about a banana?
In the beginning of years, when the world was so new and all, and the animals were just beginning to work for man, there was a camel, and he lived in the middle of a howling desert because he did not want to work, and because he was a howler himself. So he ate sticks, and thorns, and tamarisks, and milkweed, and prickles. Most excruciating idle. And when anybody spoke to him, he said, "Humph." Just humph and no more. Presently Horse came to him on Monday morning with a saddle on his back and a bit in his mouth and said, "Camel, oh Camel, come out and trot like the rest of us." "Humph," said the Camel, and the Horse went away and told the man. Presently Dog came to him with a stick in his mouth and said, "Camel, oh Camel, come and fetch and carry like the rest of us." "Humph, come and plough like the rest of us." "Humph," said the Camel, and the Ox went away and told the man. At the end of the day the man called the Horse and the Dog and the Ox and said, "Three, oh three, I am very sorry for you with the world so new and all. But that Humph thing in the desert can't work, so I'm going to leave him alone, and you must work double time to make up for it." Now that made the three very angry, with the world so new and all, and they held a palaver and an indaba and a panchayat and a powwow on the edge of the desert, and the Camel chewed milkweed, most excruciating idle, and laughed at them. Presently there came along the Jinn in charge of all deserts, rolling in a cloud of dust. Jinns always travel that way because it's magic. And he stopped to palaver with the three. "Jinn of all the deserts," said the Horse, "is it right for anyone to be idle with the world so new and all?" "Certainly not," said the Jinn. "Well," said the Horse, "there's a howler in the desert, and he won't work." "Phew," said the Jinn, whistling. "That's my Camel. For all the gold in Arabia, what does he say about it?" "He says, 'Humph,'" said the Dog, "and he won't fetch and carry." "Does he say anything else?" "Only 'Humph,'" said the Ox, "and he says he won't plough." "Very good," said the Jinn. "I'll humph him, if you will kindly wait a minute." And the Jinn rolled himself up in his dust cloak and took a bearing across the desert, and there he found the Camel most excruciating idle, looking at his own reflection in a pool of water. "My long and bubbling friend," said the Jinn, "what's this I hear of your doing no work with the world so new and all?" "Humph," said the Camel. The Jinn sat down with his chin in his hand and began to think a great magic, while the Camel looked at his own reflection in a pool of water. "You've given the three extra work since Monday morning, all on account of your excruciating idleness," said the Jinn, and he went on thinking magics with his chin in his hand. "Humph," said the Camel. "I shouldn't say that again if I were you," said the Jinn. "You might say it once too often. Bubbles, I want you to work." And the camel said Humph again, but no sooner had he said it than the djinn began to dance a great magic. And the camel saw his back that he was so proud of, puffing up and puffing up into a great big lolloping humph. "Do you see that?" said the djinn. "That's your very own humph that you've brought upon your very own self by not working. Today is Thursday, and you've done no work since Monday when the world began. Now you are going to work." "How can I work," said the camel, "with this humph on my back?" "That's made a purpose," said the djinn, "all because you missed those 3 days. You will be able to work now for 3 days without eating because you can live on your humph. And don't ever say I never did anything for you. Come out of the desert and go to the 3 and behave. Humph yourself." And the camel humphed himself, humph and all, and went away to join the 3. And from that day to this, the camel always wears a humph. We call it a hump now so as not to hurt his feelings. But he has never yet caught up with the 3 days that he missed at the beginning of the world. And he has never yet learned how to behave.
The more we get together, 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 the more we get together, the happier we'll be. For your friends are my friends, and my friends are your friends. The more we get together, the happier we'll be. The more we sing together, 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 the more we sing together, the happier we'll be. For your friends are my friends, and my friends are your friends. The more we sing together, the happier we'll be.
It's not so easy to remember everything, so my old book will help us. It's a long time ago, the beginning of our mishpucha, the Jewish family.
How long ago?
Plenty long, believe me. Almost 6,000 years, give or take a month or two.
Here's Ada.
Ah, thank you, Sarah. Now, you see?
It's a book of pictures.
Pictures, kinder, pictures of our history. You'll tell me what you see in them. I will tell you what they mean. Here's the first one. David, tell me what you see.
I see a boy and he's in a room with lots of statues. Only most of them are broken, except for one.
And the boy has a big hammer.
And you know who the boy is?
Abraham?
Abraham Avinu.
What's Avinu?
It means our father, because Abraham was the first Jew and the father of all the Jewish people. Now listen, Abraham was quite a smart customer, and he wouldn't settle for a simple answer if he thought there was a better one. Oh, would he ask questions?
Just like David.
Yeah, who made the sun come up every morning? How should a flower know how to bloom in the springtime instead of the fall? Why sometimes a rain would fall heavy one year and the next year not so heavy? Came the answer from his father. For each department in nature was a different god. The sun god was in charge of the sun, and if you wanted rain, you prayed to the rain god. Abraham's father built the idols for each god, a different one.
What's an idol?
Oh, like a statue. Only the people would pray to it, like it was a god. Now, Abraham was no dummy. He didn't believe all those gods. Wouldn't they argue? Wouldn't they get muddled, make a mess of everything? And he didn't believe in the idols. His father made them, so how could they be powerful gods? Stop with all the questions already, his father would shout. Be like everybody else and pray to the idols and the gods will protect you. But I'm telling you, this Abraham wasn't buying nohow. So one day, he snuck into his father's workshop with a hammer. Nervous? Oh, you bet. Then he takes a breath and boom with the hammer.
He smashed the idol?
One of them, yes. And then he waited. And nothing. Nothing happened. So he smashed them all, one by one, until only the biggest and the most important idol was left standing. The hammer he put in the hand of that last idol. Well, when his father came home and saw the mess, he yelled like a thunderstorm. How could Abraham do this? Was he completely mashugana? I didn't do anything, Abraham said, and he pointed to the idol with the hammer. The big statue smashed up all the smaller ones. Oi, said his father, you think I'm a fool? Everyone knows that idols can't move or speak or do anything. And then Abraham looked at his father in the eye and he said, then why do you worship them? And he was only 13 years old. Still a boy, but he knew there was only one God who created all of nature, a God that no one could see, that was greater than any statue.
And God makes everything happen? Like the sun coming out?
The sun, the stars, the flowers, the trees, everything's connected, like a machine and God. You see, God is like the part inside that you can't see, but it makes everything work, just like God holds all the universe together. And the first one to figure this out was Abraham. Of course, everybody else didn't like what he said about their idols. They got pretty mad on him. And soon he had to leave his home and travel to Canaan.
And Canaan is Israel now, isn't it, Zeta?
Israel, the Holy Land.
So you're Jewish if you believe in one God.
Not anymore. Now lots of people in the world believe in one God.
And that's not all there is to being Jewish either. But Abraham was the first to believe in one God, and he was the first Jewish man.
And he married Sarah, didn't he, Zeta? Who I'm named after?
You, Sarah, are named for my mother.
When I was a kid, I used to have this walk to school up a long hill. In the wintertime, with the wind whipping up all the snow, I used to pull the hood tight over my head and bury my face into my scarf. It was like my own world inside there, and I'd start to sing along in time with my walking beat. By the time I got to class, I'd still have this song running around my head, and I'd be tapping away on my desk around my math set. And I was constantly being told to please stop that horrible noise. And not just by my teachers. I used to drive my parents crazy. Can you imagine having a son who discovers one day that if you take the garbage can, dump the garbage out onto the floor, and tip the can upside down, it makes a great sound.
great to be crazy. Boom, boom, ain't it great to be crazy? Giddy and foolish all day long. Boom, boom, ain't it great to be crazy? A horse and a flea and 3 blind mice sat on a curbstone shooting dice. A horse he slipped and fell on the flea. Whoops, said the flea, there's a horse on me. Boom, boom, ain't it great to be crazy? Boom, boom, ain't it great to be crazy? Giddy and foolish all day long. Boom, boom, ain't it great to be crazy? Eli, Eli, he sells socks, 5 cents a pair and $1 a box. The longer you wear 'em, the shorter they get. You put 'em in the water and they don't get wet. Boom, boom, ain't it great to be crazy? Boom, boom, ain't it great to be crazy? Giddy and foolish all day long. Boom, boom, ain't it great to be crazy? Boom, boom, ain't it great to be crazy?
Can't eat my porridge, can't swallow my toast. Just looked in the mirror, I'm pale as a ghost. I should stay at home today, snug in my bed. They should keep me at home so I don't end up dead. Oh, Mother, please tell me I don't have to go out in the dark and the cold and the snow. It's -19 out and cozy in here. There's a pain in my stomach and maybe my ear. You could put on my favorite Charlie Brown sheets and bring me my favorite munchies to eat. Tomato soup on the green flour tray, potato chips, ginger ale, just for today. You could feel my poor forehead, rub my cold feet, wheel in the TV just for Sesame Street. You could bring me my books and my crayons and cat. You could sit by the bed with your coffee and chat. There's an ache in my ankle, or maybe my toe. That's sure to get worse if you tell me to go. What? You think I'm just faking? Just making a story? Well, I'll die at my desk, and then you'll be sorry.
One day I went out to the rodeo. I went to see the cowboys rope and ride. I got excited as I watched the show. I jumped right up and down and then I cried. I'd like to be a cowgirl, but ooh, I'm scared of cows. Moo, 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 how they scare me. I often try to face them while in the field they browse. Moo, 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 how they scare me. I'd walk up to a lion and smack him on the brow. I'd even kick a polecat, but don't ask me to punch a cow. I'd like to be a cowgirl, but ooh, I'm scared of cows. Moo, 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 how they scare me. Ee-la-la-lay, dee-dee-dee, la-la-lay-oo, a-lay-oo, moo, how they scare me. I tried to milk a Holstein, she acted like a fool. No matter how I coaxed her, she wouldn't sit down on the stool. I'd like to be a cowgirl, but ooh, I'm scared of cows. Moo, 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 how they scare me. I often try to face them while in the field they browse. Moo, 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 how they scare me. Ee-la-la-lay, dee-dee-dee, la-la-lay-oo, a-lay-oo, moo, how they scare me. They say a cat has 9 lives, but I know a cow. She kicked the bucket 10 times, and she's alive and kicking now. I'd like to be a cowgirl, but ooh, I'm scared of cows. Moo, 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 how they scare me. I often try to face them while in the field they browse. Moo, 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 how they scare me. Ee-la-la-lay, dee-dee-dee, la-la-lay-oo, a-lay-oo, moo, how they scare me. A cow once tried to chase me across a field of corn. She bumped right into my guitar and didn't even sound the horn.